There are those that just want to be left alone, and those that just won't leave them alone. Which one are you? The Ernest Hancock Show.
William Wallace, you stand in taint of high treason.
Against whom?
Against your king. Have you anything to say?
Never in my whole life did I swear allegiance to him.
It matters not. He is your king. Confess, and you may receive a quick death. Deny, and you must be purified by pain. Do you confess? Do you confess? Then on the morrow you shall receive your purification.
Yes, he is your king. Do you confess? There's always somebody, who gets to be king and who do you got to pay loyalty to? It's never to yourself or never individual. It's never, hey, man, I never said I pledge allegiance to whatever, it matters not. He is your king. Well, they get to determine who the king is. So that's what my concern is on all this campaign finance kind of stuff. It's always, you don't get to determine yourself. And you can go find it. How about I just listen to what he has to say? I don't give a freaking dump who pays to whatever. Hopefully you're in a culture of freedom and you'll be able to discern that on your own. Nope. Got to have, it's all controlled. And one thing when this came out that you got, this was first coming, I didn't know there was an FEC complaint, but, this is what the first thing that came to mind to me. And I wrote about it. And it went like this. Think of, talking to Adam, and I said, well, think of the context of what's going on in the news right now. And I wrote this on today's article. We were covering this. We're talking about this more. I talked to Gary Franchi, and I talked to some other people that I know that's involved in different things, trying to get the beat on. Daily Paul broke this, used a lot of their stuff there to find out what was going on. This is my point. The West's central banks are failing. Europe and the USA are entering the Greatest Depression. Wars, and more rumors of wars are, all going on while Russia's Putin, ex-KGB, and a president of Russia is kicking sand in the faces of the Western powers at every opportunity, and even talking of creating a new Euro-Asian alliance to compete against whatever. We've been talking about this over the last few days. Former Soviet leader Gorbachev comes out of mothballs calling for regime change in Russia. Well, we'll get to that right after we finish Libya and Syria's on the list, and then we'll go get to Russia. I'm like, seriously, man, there's some weird stuff going on. So, in this environment, we have Russia with firsthand knowledge of how effective foreign broadcasts, like Voice of America and the BBC and all that was into the Soviet Union, can be in determining the issues discussed and even the direction a culture may take with exposure to information. RT.com can be seen as, payback is a bitch, in the freeing of minds, them taking advantage of that, kind of feeling good about themselves. Ha, 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 ha. Well, the FEC and the government-controlled media and whatever, they see it too. And they're going, guess what? We got a law against that. Okay. Now, of course, every administration has all the money they funneling from, the Chinese was big in the Clinton administration and Bush administration from Saudi Arabia and whatever. You got all this kind of stuff going on, but, whatever. It's you control the government. You get to pick the fights you want. Ron Paul's campaign, just as the West's attempt to undermine the Russian government's hold on its people via truth broadcasting on Russia TV outlet in America is gaining popularity by having young and informed reporters and hosts pointing out the tyranny and warmongering of the USA regime as we descend into the Greatest Depression. Ron Paul's campaign to free as many minds as possible and getting that GOP nomination in the process is a great threat to those responsible for the greatest mess that be a-comin'. And linking the Ron Paul campaign with Russian government-funded TV is a great distraction. I am always looking for the full story, and I'm interested in the organization usasurvival.org and what might be their motivations for making the claim in their FEC complaint that the Russian government is supporting Ron Paul so that Obama will win, as if any of the other Republicans would be any different from Obama than Obama was from www.warmonger.com Bush. This is, we're going to there's going to be change. There's no regime change. It's the same policies. That's the point that Dr. Paul's making. As always, the USASurvival.org 501c3 will have its entire history and flowchart of supporters examined by the Levolution's Generation Next, and we'll all get another level of understanding of what is truly going on and what is behind it. Strange days indeed. And then, of course, I make a link to a Google search on Stephen Colbert and how they did the FEC thing with his Viacom and the television show that he has, because I guess they were just more prepared. So then it goes on and talks about how the Daily Paul, how it was because behind the scenes there was an instance in the Iowa straw poll where Russia Today was trying to get an interview with Ron Paul. And what happened, Jesse Benton, his grandson-in-law and communication guy, he goes, hey, man, we don't do interviews, RT, that government-funded propaganda machine, and yeah, we know you got Adam Kokesh out there doing whatever, but, nobody pays attention to you guys anyway, and have a nice day. Well, of course, this causes a ruckus. RT, but what the, because the FEC complaint. Ron's got to distance himself. Now, in the complaint, what they do is they say it was sometime in June to where Adam said, I don't know, he supported him, endorsed him, go and participate in the money bomb or whatever, and all it takes is a couple of syllables, and you're guilty. Guilty, 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 guilty. When this controversy comes up, you're guilty just because they said, did the freaking complaint. And you're dealing with government, so it's going to be, the complaint is, enough. So what happens? RT's like, you know what? Your service is no longer required. So he got to do a final show. That was nice. He goes, hey, I'm out. I didn't see it. But so that's too bad. But, this is, it's a good lesson for everybody. For me, it's that First Amendment, everybody can kiss it thing. I just come after. Heck, I keep begging them to, and they never do. But the thing is, someday they will. They're going to say, yeah, Ernie, man, you don't get to say whatever you want. Well, yeah, I do until they say I can't. Now, here is the actual complaint. I got it up on the screen for you, those on video. America's Survival, Inc. is a 501c3 educational organization specializing in exposing the United Nations, international organizations, and extremist movements, whatever that means. Its principal place of business is blah, blah, blah. This complaint is filed with the Federal Elections Commission pursuant to the amendments to the Foreign Agents Registration Act concerning the ban on political contributions by foreign nationals enacted in 66, authority of blah, blah, blah. So here's what they say is happening. Because Adam Kokesh promoted raising funds for Ron Paul, it violates this and so on. Now, this is where it gets good. I like this part. Here we go. The apparent purpose of this electioneering by a foreign corporation based in Russia is to divide and weaken the Republican Party as it enters the 2012 presidential election season, thus making it more likely that President Barack Obama and his political party will succeed. Hence, this appears to constitute blatant interference in U.S. elections. Will it be found that that is so? It doesn't matter. It's just a complaint. They're saying, hey, this electioneering by a foreign corporation, being that they're paying Adam, as an employee to whatever, this is why? Well, it's because they want President Obama elected and supporting Ron Paul do that. I'm like, and my whole thing is, seriously, which one of these Republicans, like, McCain, Obama, what was the difference? Obama, Bush, what's the difference? Any of these other guys and Obama, what's the difference? Well, they just want to muddy that up. Okay. The facts. There you go. The facts of this complaint are based on an episode of RTT program, Adam versus the Man, hosted by Kokesh, an employee of the channel, yada, 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 being paid by the Russian regime of Vladimir Putin, the former KGB officer and current prime minister of the air. I mean, that's good, man. This is a good PR thing. And when I talked to Adam about this, when Jesse Benton, seems like, he didn't have a choice. This is in there. I don't see how he would say anything different. Like, look, man, that government propaganda machine of, I go, Adam, he's right. We knew this from the beginning. That they're going to pay you to be out and do the freedom thing, I'm whatever. It's not my tax money, but I'm telling you, we need to find out everything about this and this organization. Now, he writes me back and he says we wanted to get Cliff Kincaid, the guy that did this, on. And he goes, my sources tell me that Ernest Hancock is a collaborator with Adam Kokesh, that Hancock has appeared on Russian television with him, that Hancock has raised money for Kokesh, and that that his group advertised on the Kokesh show. Is this correct? I'm like, yeah, but you still get to say what you want to say. We're going to have to dissect and open this all up, because it's going to be done anyway. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.